Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Canada. My name is Roberto Wakerel Cruz, coming to you from Windsor, Ontario. That's right, I came down to visit some friends and family for a week, so that's why I'm not in the office, and that's why this whole setup might not look as impressive as it normally doesn't. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and roll with it anyway. But before we get started on this very fun and exciting episode, we have to give a big round of applause, a big thank you to our sponsor once again, Surfshark. Surfshark is still here, and for a limited time, you can get 81% off of their awesome VPN on unlimited devices. I have it, friends have it, everybody has it, and you don't still. So I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're waiting. You can go to the links below, check out Surfshark, and for a limited time, and I promise you, it's limited, get a Surfshark subscription for only like $2.50 a month. It's only $2.49 a month. That's the U.S. price. Canadian, that's like 60 cents more. Depends on how the market's doing. But go ahead and get it. Now let's go on with the episode. And boy, oh boy, do we have a fun one for you. So this episode is going to really focus on a less serious topic than Bill C-36, which of course is still in the news. Actually, we've gotten some details on Bill C-36 and how really awful it's going to be. It's going to be way more censorious than Bill C-10 ever was. And in fact, it's the bill that we should all be kind of afraid of. It's really going to change the way that Canada uses the internet, I think. Again, this is by Stephen Guilbeault, our friend, who is on his duty, apparently as the Heritage Minister, to remove hate from the internet. I don't know what that has to do with heritage. I know he's very short. He's only like 5'4". In fact, I talked to a guy that saw him on the street the other day. He lives near me in Montreal. And he said he couldn't believe how tiny he was. Like, even not just like on a height scale, but on a width scale. He's not a big presence, which is why he's trying to impose his will on the internet, is my guess. I figure short people like to exude power because they can't reach the bread on top of the fridge. So anyway, let's move on from that. We're not going to talk about that too much. There's actually a topic that I wanted to talk about that had nothing to do with censorship, but more to do with hypocrisy. And this government hypocrisy does well, right? Justin Trudeau, our friend, who we talk about basically every week, I think every week, came out and decided to condemn the Montreal hockey team, the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs, for drafting a player. So before we get started, I want to roll the clip, and I will provide context afterwards of why this matters and what the exact situation is. I mean, what's really going on here. So let's roll the clip right now. Let's get started.
As a lifelong Habs fan, I have to say I am deeply disappointed by the decision. I think it was a lack of judgment by the Canadiens organization. I think they have a lot of explaining to do to Montrealers and to fans from right across the country.
What's the exact situation here? Because just the question and answer, it doesn't really provide the full context of what happened. So the Montreal Canadiens in the first round decided to draft a player, an 18-year-old boy named Logan Mailloux. Logan Mailloux recently got into some trouble because he was in a consensual sexual act with a woman in Sweden. But what was not consensual is that he took a photo of the woman and passed it around to his teammates. In Canada, this is illegal. You are not allowed to do that. I don't know if you'll face prison time, but I would imagine it's more than a slap on a wrist. Whereas in Sweden, it is a slap in the wrist. He just got fined. And so old Logan Mailloux says to the NHL, hey, I've got a swarm of bees around me. Everyone's really mad at me. I need to grow up and take responsibility for this. I did a horrible thing. And he did. That's really over the line. You should not be taking photos without people knowing during an intimate act like that. I hope that we can all agree on that. So he says, you know what? Don't draft me. Please, for the love of God, do not draft me. I'm 18 years old. I don't deserve to be in the NHL at this point. I've made a really irresponsible decision, and I'm out. So what did the Montreal Canadiens do? Well, they drafted him in the first round. Apparently, they couldn't pass up on old Logan Mailloux. Said, you know what? This kid, he's got a swarm of bees around him, but at least the kid can play hockey. He's only 18 years old, and gosh darn it, don't we all make mistakes when we're 18 years old? Let's draft him. So they did. Draft they did. And this caused a big, backlash against the organization, including from Justin Trudeau, who you just saw there, condemned. Like Justin Trudeau, the lifelong Habs fan, which, I mean, this is how little I trust the guy, is that he just says, yeah, I was born in Montreal. I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. And I go, yeah, right. You don't know anything. You're not a hockey fan. I just don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth, right? But anyway, he comes out and says, I am disgusted as a lifelong fan, or, whatever. And the Montreal Canadiens have a lot of splaining to do. Now, the reason why I was upset by this, the Post Millennial wrote an article on this, as well as the Toronto Sun. These are the only two outlets I saw anybody touch this angle from. The Post Millennial and the Toronto Sun. Let's pull up ours. Say, hey, hold on, Justin, old J-Dog, Trudeau, JT, old JT. Didn't you grope a woman? Didn't you allegedly grope a woman when you were in British Columbia in like 2003? Yeah. Yeah, you did. Well, I mean, it sure sounded like you did. Now, Justin Trudeau, the allegation goes is that this woman who worked in media was groped by Justin Trudeau. Trudeau says he did not do it, of course, and he says he understands if other people perceived his actions in a different way, and that's why we all need to grow and learn from experiences, that people's perspectives aren't always the same. Some BS like that, right? Anyway, he had also said that if he had known that the woman was in media, that he would have conducted himself differently. This is a pretty big deal because you're trying to basically cancel a kid, or at least the organization, for giving a second chance. And second chances, JT, is something that we've given you a lot of. I mean, Canada, at least. Especially the media seems to give you more chances than you know what to do with. It's gone to your head. Totally gone to his head. The guy walks around. He's the most arrogant person in the world. He feels untouchable. And he kind of is. I mean, he's going to win a majority. Just wait. He's going to win a majority. The election's coming. But anyway, Canadians have given you a second chance there, Justin. Remember, not just the groping thing, which all of the media was just like, you know what? Yeah, it happens. I mean, let's just ignore it and never talk about it again. But remember when he wore what he called brown face, which was just shoe polish? It's blackface. He wasn't brown face. I don't even know what is brown face. Like, how would you even do that? Blackface is pretty clear. He's in blackface. He's wearing black makeup at it was a Arabian Nights party. Arabians aren't really like black like that. I don't know what he was going for. He loves doing blackface. He's done it more than once. He said on that plane press conference that he held after, that when he was in high school, he did Deo, like the Banana Boat song, while in blackface. So I guess you can count that as not just a second chance, but like 4 chances that we're giving him here. Because we reelected him right after. He didn't really face the consequences of his actions there. He didn't really have a lot of splaining to do. He talked about it for 3 press conferences. The one on the plane, the one in like Manitoba after, and then maybe once more. And now he's fine. So that's why it's just a bit annoying, you know? Like, you can't give an 18-year-old just another chance. And you know what? I gotta say, this is why I hate Twitter. Is because I see people trying to end this kid's career. He did a bad thing. Are we going to end everybody that's done a bad thing? And the Canadiens, you know what? Came out and gave a response, apologized for the decision for drafting him. This kid, I hope he has some good people around him, man, because if I was an 18-year-old going through this, I'd be having some thoughts. you know? You got to keep an eye on that kid. But let's pull up the Montreal Canadiens apology and the course of action, the decisions that they're going to make moving forward to right this wrong, including not inviting him to camp. So it's like, why'd you even draft? So we have it on the screen here. This is the letter from Jeff Molson. And by the way, if your name is spelled Jeff and it's Geoff, I can't stand that. But anyway, back to the letter here. He writes, I want to share with you my perspective on our decision to select Logan Mailloux in the 2021 NHL draft. This decision, made in the context of the draft, turned out to be instantaneously very offensive to many of you. Yeah, understatement. So a lot of people felt like this was reinforcing rape culture. Again, the relationship was consensual, but the photo wasn't. And he's paying the price now. I mean, big time. First and foremost, regarding the young woman who is the victim, of course, I want to say that we do not minimize what she has had to. What? Oh, whoops. Let's go back to the letter. First and foremost, regarding the young woman who is the victim, I want to say that we do not minimize what she has had to and continues to have to live through. No one, especially not an 18-year-old, should have to suffer through a traumatic experience like this. We are there to support her and her family and respect their privacy. So basically, it goes on and on. Let's go to the bottom where it's most interesting. We gave Logan a second chance, but in doing so, we failed to properly assess the impact of our decision on the victim and on anyone who have suffered in similar circumstances. Once again, I want to apologize to everyone impacted by our decision. Lastly, I want to thank everyone that has provided their feedback on the situation, including our partners and sponsors. That's the big one, eh? Sponsors. Are you sure that's not what this is all about, is the money you're about to lose for hiring a guy that's deemed evil by the public? Evil and irredeemable. No second chances in this cancel culture, so that this mistake becomes an opportunity to grow and raise awareness. Well, isn't that nice? Now, part of the action that they're taking, they're going to, reach out to groups and make sure that this doesn't happen again. I mean, it already happened. I don't know how you're going to right this wrong. You've pissed off a lot of people. And this kid, I mean, I don't even know if he's ever going to play a game in the NHL. Let's hope that, like Justin Trudeau, that Logan Mailloux gets a second chance. I would really like to see this turn into a positive story. Maybe he just becomes the greatest player of all time. That would piss off a lot of people. I don't know. You tell me. But before we go, let's give a big round of applause once again to our sponsors at Surfshark. Surfshark, for a limited time only, you can get 81% off. They said, we're going to give you a deal for 80%. I said, no, we got to have 81% off. Our fans deserve it. For a limited time, only $249 a month, unlimited devices. They're here. They are Surfsharking. Get used to it. And thank you very much for joining me once again. I want to say that we will not be here next week. The vacations continue. Our producer, James, who is long overdue for a vacation, is going on vacation. He's going to take a week off. So I will also be taking the week off. Again, this is summer. Let us enjoy ourselves. And I hope you enjoyed yourself today. And I'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.